Hey all, Tony Bing here, hello and welcome back to another in-depth review for Marvel's Strike Force. Now, we have another Sinister 6 character today, as of course Shocker. So in this video, to let you know if he's worth investing in, we'll start off with a general overview that includes how you unlock him and also his tags. We'll then have a look at his stats. Next up it's the abilities, and I'll let you know how high you want to level them. We have the Synergies, which is characters he works well with and characters you want to avoid. And then finally we will see where he places in the tier list. Now, as always, just before we jump into the video, if you're enjoying the videos on the channel, feel free to hit like. If you've not subscribed yet, feel free to do that, and feel free to share the videos as well. But let's jump in and start off with the general overview. Recently in the game then, we've had quite a few characters that could be hybrid classes, and they could be a mixture of two, but Shocker, he is just a pure blaster class. He's there just really to put out damage. So when we look at his tags, it's Villain, City, Tech, Blaster, Spider-Verse and Sinister 6. Tech tag is exceptionally strong. We just seem to keep getting characters for that tag. You've got the Blaster tag, which helps out for the challenge, and the Spider-Verse and Sinister 6 one is one that's definitely getting more interesting as time does go on. Now, in regards to unlocking them, we have the Blitz, which we had last week. We've got a Blitz coming up in the next few days. After that, in time, he'll probably make his way to Premium Orbs and potentially maybe Story or one of the stores in time as well. But that's the general overview. Let's have a look now at his stats. Being a Blaster class 9, Shocker's offensive stats are pretty decent. His damage is up at a B rating, his speed is 113, so that's really pretty decent there. It comes in at a B rating as well. His focus is down at an F, but it's not relevant because he's not applying debuffs and he's not cleansing. Also, from an offensive perspective, he has offense up in his kit, he has full piercing, and he can do additional damage per city hero enemy as well. And there are things that we'll look at a lot more when we actually get to the abilities. But offensive wise, he actually does pretty decent. But again, it is to be expected for a Blaster class. So let's see how he gets on defensively. We start off with the health here, so that is pretty low, it's way down at an E rating. He has exceptionally nice armour to offset it when you fully upgraded his passive, and with the base armour he actually has the highest armour rating in the game. 7 red star, it would be round about 13,000 armour he's got, which is really pretty huge. Now, his resistance is D, so it means he is susceptible to debuffs. Finally, from a defensive perspective, you've got the additional armour, which we've already touched on as well. That actually comes per Sinister 6 ally, and it's something that we're actually going to check out now when we look at the abilities. The first ability we look at here then is the passive. This is called Vibro Shock. So with this one, when it's maxed out at level 5, you gain 20% armour, you gain 5% armour per Sinister 6 ally. You can have up to 4 of them in a team, of course. That means you can get 40% additional armour on top of his already high base armour. And we mentioned it earlier in the video, but it would cap out around about 13,000. Also, with his passive, he can gain 20% damage, and he gains 5% damage per city hero enemy he goes up against. You can go up against, I suppose, I was about to say 5, but you can actually go up against more than 5 if it is a raid, for example there. So this can really bump his stats up depending on the team that he is going up against. Now, in testing with this, when you actually take out a city hero enemy, the 5% drops off. So let's say you spawn with 2 defenders characters, you'll get a 10% damage boost. Once you beat one of them, the damage boost will actually drop down to 5%. So that's just something to bear in mind. It's only active when the actual enemies are there, not when they're defeated. Now, the difference on this from level 4 to 5 is 5% armour and 10% damage. The 10% damage is nice, but because it's just one character, I don't think I could justify using the tier 4 materials in this, so this is one I would say just keep at level 4. The next ability we have here is the basic called Concussion Bolt. So maxed out at level 7 with this one, you attack primary target for 280% piercing, on target dodge, so that's for when you're going up against the likes of, let's say, Daredevil or Spider-Man. Then you apply assist now to a random Sinister 6 ally. That's not unavoidable unfortunately, so what could happen is that the character dodges, you get the assist, and then with the AI dodge rates being as high as they could simply just dodge again. Now the difference from level 6 to 7 is 60% piercing damage, so it drops down to 220% at level 6. 60% piercing is a nice amount, but because it's just on a single target, this is another one that I couldn't justify maxing out, so I would just take this one up to level 6. The next ability we have is a special, which is called Sonic Dissonance. This one is 5 turns to charge, comes fully charged. When you use this, you'll generate 1 ability energy for yourself, and I found this really odd because the next ability you use would be your ultimate, but by the time you use this, it's actually maxed out, so the energy is essentially wasted. However, I checked this with the community manager, and the way it works is it is essentially taking 1 ability energy off this particular skill for the next time you use it. So think of it as having a 4 turn cooldown really rather than a 5 turn. If the match does go on for 4 or 5 turns, then eventually it will give you extra energy towards the ultimate, but in the first instance it is wasted. Now also with this, you apply a fence up to self for 2 turns, so that's really nice when we see the next skill you follow up with, and you apply a fence up to all Sinister 6 allies, which is pretty awesome, and you change your speed bar by a whopping 80%, so you can use it, and very shortly afterwards you will be able to go again with that offence up. Now there's quite a big difference from level 6 to 7. Your offence up, rather than applying for 2 turns guaranteed, it's 1 to 2 turns, and you only apply a fence up to 2 Sinister 6 allies as opposed to up to 4 of them that would be in your team. So this is one that if you're going in Shocker and you're upgrading the Sinister 6 team, this is one that you definitely want to take all the way to level 7. The final ability we have here is the ultimate, and this can really do a nice amount of damage. So it's Subsonic Blast. This particular one is 6 turns to charge. It comes with 4 charges, so that means turn number 2 it will be available. Now with this, you attack primary and all adjacent targets for 120% piercing, so it's another attack that's full piercing, which is really nice. Also with this, you repeat the attack using a new primary target randomly chosen from the previous secondary targets, and then that actually happens for a 3rd time as well. It's very similar, if not almost identical to M'Baku's skill, in that he'll do an AoE attack to adjacent characters. If he defeats one of them, it repeats. The difference with Shocker, you don't have to actually defeat a character, so maxed out this will do a whopping 360% piercing damage over an area, which is actually a really nice amount. Now the difference from level 6 to 7 is that you lose that 3rd attack, so you're losing 120% piercing damage to potentially up to 5 characters if you drop them in with Magneto, which is a whole lot of fun to do. So this is one that I would say that you want to max it out as well. So for Shocker, it would be the special and the ultimate that you're maxing out. Now with all the abilities covered, let's jump in and have a look at the synergies. For the synergies, we start off here with characters that Shocker can work well with. So you've got the allies first. Now of course you've got the Sinister 6 characters, but specifically if you pair him up with the likes of Rhino, it gives Rhino increased health. If you pair him up with Mysterio, you can get assist on Mysterio's special. You also get deflect on Spawn. We then have some Spider-Verse characters that can work nice with. You've got Venom. He has the Spider-Verse tag, so you can give Venom the extra focus. With Green Goblin, he can actually cleanse on each Spider-Verse character's turn. You then have the tech tag, which is relevant here. We have Vision that can provide the defense up for the first 2 turns for him, and then finally you have something I've already mentioned to an extent. It can work really nice with Magneto. Magneto will pull all the characters together, and then you can have Shocker that can fire off that ultimate, hitting all the characters for full piercing 3 times, and it really can do a ton of damage. It makes me think that with Rhino as well, he was a character that really, to get the most of him, you had to use Magneto to pull all the characters together. So I'm wondering in time, will we get a Dr. Octopus legendary for the Sinister 6 characters, and will he pull all the characters together similar to Magneto? That would be pretty awesome if it was the case, but it's 100% or it's 200% speculation on my part here, so don't go saying this is going to happen in any way. Now that's all the characters he can work well with anyway, so let's look at the characters you want to avoid. So when it comes to characters you want to avoid, or characters you can potentially use to shut down Shocker, there's a risk reward element here with quite a lot of them. You firstly have Daredevil and Punisher. They will do additional damage to villains, however in turn Shocker can do additional damage to them because they are city hero allies. You have Miles Morales. There's not too much risk here. On turn number 1 he can use his special to slow and lower the speed bar of Shocker, meaning he can't get his own special and then ultimate off with a fence up. Next up you have Mordo and Vision. What they can do is they can apply blind so that ultimate misses, or apply ability block so that Shocker can't fire off the ultimate. The only problem is both of their speeds 113, which is exactly the same as Shocker, so it's really just down to your luck whether or not you get to go and actually apply this in time before the ultimate is cast. We then have Doctor Strange. He can come in just after Shocker's actually cast his special and before his speed bar's fully filled up for that ultimate to apply a fence down for it, which can work really nice. And then finally, I'm not going to list them all specifically, but characters that have piercing in their kit can actually work pretty nice to take him down, because Shocker's survivability comes via his armour and your piercing will ignore it. So that could be the likes of Wolverine, it could be another Shocker actually, or it could be even War Machine, a character with a lot of piercing in his kit as well there. So that's all the characters that you want to avoid and ones you can use to take him down. Let's have a look and see where he places in the tier list. So when it comes to placing Shocker in the tier list, he's actually a pretty decent character. He's not over the top. For a while we did get some releases that were absolutely insane and it was just pushing the power creep too far. So I mentioned this with Rhino. I'm relatively happy to see some characters that come in that are mid tier or just above mid tier, so the power creep isn't getting too out of control. Now if you look at what he offers, you've got the full piercing on his basic and also his ultimate. You've got the fence up he can apply, so a fence up and full piercing, and all the multiple attacks on that ultimate can be a pretty amazing combo. You've got his high armour, that unless you're going up against a character that's got a whole lot of piercing, then you're not going to be taking that much damage there. Again, his armour, 7 red star, can be around about 13,000, which is really pretty nice. Now if we add all that up together on his own, I would say that he comes in as a low alpha character, so he's in the same tier as Rhino. The Sinister Six Synergies are actually looking pretty nice and he's got some nice ones himself, so with Synergies I would say he would move up 2 slots to a high alpha character, so he is one that is worth farming for this upcoming Blitz, which is going to be coming pretty soon. So that's a Shocker in-depth review, another one done. Let me know in the comments below if you've unlocked them, how you're getting on with them, what you think of the rating, and as always, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment below to help drive engagement. If you've not subscribed, feel free to do that, and I'll see you all again soon.